Okay, today we're going to talk about rounding. So this is an infographic that I made, and it talks about this portion of this infographic I love because this is all about our rhyme here. So 5 and above, give it a shove. 4 and below, let it go. And then it shows our step-by-step instructions on how to round. So let's start with this. We're going to do some examples. So the rhyme 5 and above, give it a shove. 4 and below, let it go means that when we are looking at our numbers, so if we have we're rounding to the nearest thousands place up here. So the nearest thousands place. So what I'm going to do is underline and identify my thousands place in the number that I'm trying to round. Now next door, this number right here is my bossy number, the 6, okay? So that 6 is either going to boss around that 8 or let it alone. So if it's 5 and above, give it a shove. It's big enough to boss around this 8. So it's going to shove that 8 up. So if we look at this, so this 8 shoves up to a 9. And then this is called rounding. Notice it's the word round in there. So that always makes me think of zeros. So everything after the place that you're rounding turns into zeros. So 8,623 is rounded up to 9,000. All right, for this next one, we're going to, again, identify our thousands place. All of these are rounding to the nearest thousands place. So 4 is in the thousands place. The 2 is our bossy number. So that's going to boss this 4 around or let it go. Since the 2 is 4 and below, let it go, we're going to not change the 4 at all. So the 2 is going to stay the same because it's too far away to even get bossed around. Now the 2 is 4 and below, so we're going to let the 4 go, so it's going to stay the same, and everything after that is rounded because we're rounding and it's a round number like 0. So 24,000. This next number is really big. We've got 4,623,924. So once again, we're going to identify our thousands place. So the 3 is our thousands place, and our 9 is our bossy number. So it's either going to boss that 3 up or not. So if we look at this, our 620, all of those are going to stay the same because the only thing we're changing or not changing is the 3 here, right? So the 9 is going to boss the 3 around and bump it up to a 4, and everything else afterwards turns into round numbers. So our number is rounded to 4,624,000. Okay, on to a couple of tricky ones. So again, our same rule, we're looking at the thousands with this, and our rule is the same. So 5 and above, give it a shove. 4 and below, let it go. So we're identify our thousands place, which is a 9. The 5 is our bossy number. 5 is 5 and above. We're going to give this a shove up. Now when we give the shove up to a 9, it becomes a 10, right? And so this 0 is going to be in the thousands place, and this 1 is going to add to the 4. So we end up with 50,000. Okay? All right, our next one, same thing. This is 9 is our thousands place. Our bossy number is the 9 next door. So 5 and above, give it a shove. This 9 is shoved up to a 10. So this 9 will be a 0. And then this 1 adds to the 2, right? So we get 2 plus 1 is 3. The 9 was bumped up to that 0. And then everything else is a rounded number. Okay, been rounding a lot to the thousands place. I thought it was time we check out the hundreds place. So for this one, we're going to round to the hundreds place. Here's our hundreds place. So our 6 is our hundreds place. Our 5 is our bossy number. 5 is going to be 5 and above. Give it a shove. So the 7 will stay the same. 6 is bossed or bumped up to a 7. Give it a shove, and then everything else is rounded. And then we have our 2 in our hundreds place. Our bossy number is this 2. So our 93 is going to remain the same. And the 2 is what we're either going to change or keep. Since the 2 is 4 and below, we're going to let it go, meaning that 2 is going to stay the same. And then everything else turns into zeros, right? Because we're rounding. Next, we've got the 4 in the hundreds place. 5 is our bossy number. So the 9 will remain the same, and the 5 is bossy, bumps the 4 up to a 5, and everything else turns into 0. Okay, so that is rounding whole numbers. Thanks for listening.